Right, so we kind of just got up our blueprints ready to go. So we're going to move on to the next thing. So what we want to do first is we need some settings here that aren't generally there by default. So we need to turn them on. So go to Window, settings we need are world settings. All right, so settings are going to just affect just everything. And what we want to do, if I can find it, so we need to come down to, here we go, selected game mode. Okay, so at the moment you can see everything's just none, 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 none. So the game mode override that we want is going to be one that we've just, what is it? Third person game mode. Okay, so that's like the mode of the game that's going on. But then we've got all different things here. So we've got the main thing we want to look at here is the HUD class. Okay, so the HUD class is going to be our main menu HUD, right? So that's going to be the HUD that is going to be used in this mode. Okay, the default pawn class, we actually want that to be none because we're not actually going to be playing anything. It's just going to be the menu, so we don't want anything on that. We can leave that as that for now. That's all fine. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is we're going to start making our menu, like visually what it looks like. And it's going to be in this main menu widget bit here. So I've got some sort of standard stuff that I'm going to bring in. So I'm going to go to import here and go to desktop and my menu assets. Okay, so you can see I've just got some random, some buttons, all right, pre-made ones. I kind of stole these. And a background and a logo. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is making your own ones of these in Photoshop or something like that. So I'm going to open those up. Okay, and what you see is straight away I've broken my own rule and they're all in this blueprints folder. All right, that's not where I want them. Okay, so going on D. What I'm going to need to do is just select them all and get rid, delete. Okay, so what we should be doing is going back up to content up here. This isn't geometry or anything, so we can make a new folder. So I'm going to right click and make a new folder in the content, main content folder, and just call it menu assets, right? So they're the assets that we're using for our menu. So now I've got this folder open, I can import them, and they are nice and organized. Okay, so we know all of our assets for our menu are going to be here. Okay, if we ever need to come back to them, which I'm sure we will. So go back to your third person BP, back to blueprints, and open up this main menu widget. Okay, the widgets are what you would use to create HUDs or anything that's going to be overlaying on a screen, or visually you're going to see over the screen. We want to first of all bring in our background. Okay, so got all this stuff that you can use on the left hand side here. Background's going to be an image, so drag it in, and here we go. Make it the full size of the screen because we want it to cover the whole screen. Okay, and what image do we want? We want to come down to the left hand side here, and that's actually in brush. Something's kind of weirdly placed, but it's in brush, and then you can see image. All right, so at the moment there's no image. So I'm going to do this drop down. You can actually see my background is actually the first thing on the list, but if, for example, you couldn't immediately see what you wanted, you could search for it. Again, that's why things need to be named correctly so you can find them. But there's my background. Okay, looking lovely. All right, and what I also want to do is up here, right at the top, you've got these anchors. You can anchor parts of the HUD or whatever it is you've got, or the menu, to different parts of the screen. And this one at the bottom right covers the entire screen. So if I click that, we know that that's going to be anchored, to the full screen. So the user's not going to be able to see through a little gap in the menu or something, which is great. So that's fine. I'm going to click compile for now. Now what I want to do is bring in my buttons. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come down here to panel, Open that up, and I'm going to bring in a vertical box. All right, it's kind of, if you use these boxes, you've got horizontal box and vertical box. Vertical is because I want the buttons above and below. If I wanted them next to each other, I'd probably use a horizontal box, but it helps keep the buttons sort of in line with each other. Okay, move this around. I'm actually going to put my buttons over here in this kind of space because of the image I'm using. Some people, you might want the buttons in the middle, or wherever you want them. Anyway, I'm going to put them here. Okay, so I've got my vertical box, and you see when you add things, so I've added my image and my vertical box, it adds it into this asset list for the widget. Okay, and then I'm going to go back up, and I've got, you can see the button. All right, so if I drag in the button into here, see it kind of snaps in like that. There's one, two buttons, and there's another. Your menu might have loads more things going on, in which case you could have more buttons, but we're just going to have play and quit, nice and simple. You'll notice that you can't resize these. It's not, doesn't really work that way. The button is just sort of there. You can actually go into the settings over here. If you just wanted this to be just a grey button, then you could just format it with the settings here. But we're not going to do that. We're going to bring in an image because it's going to look much better. So again, come over here to style. And well, it's a bit different this time because with the image, you just bring in an image and it's the image. With the buttons, there's 3 different states of the image. Okay, so you've got the normal state, what it looks like normally, a hovered state, so when you hover your mouse over it, and the pressed state, so when it's clicked. Okay, so in normal, here we've got our image. So I'm going to bring in start button, isn't it? So start. All right, looks a bit funky at the moment, all squashed, but we'll sort that out in a second. So that's in there, and what we want to do is make sure the margins are 0. It's 0.25 for some reason by default, and that fixes it looking weird. Okay, so that's a normal one. Hovered, do the same. Start button, margin 0, and pressed. Do the same. I want to do the same button for all the states, and I want the margin to be the same as well. Okay, but when it's hovered, we want to, it's nice to change when you hover over something. Same with like on websites and things like that. So and a nice simple thing to do is you can just put a tint on it. All right. So if we click that tint, what tint would be good? Maybe blue. Something like that. Okay. So that's fine. What we also want to do, that button's got nothing on, this button here. Do you have anchors for buttons? I thought we had anchors for buttons, not a problem. The anchor's probably for the actual vertical box. Yeah, so the vertical box itself has an anchor. The anchor, just put it in the center. Doesn't mean it's going to anchor the whole thing to the center. It means the anchor's in the middle so that the position of where you put it here on the widget, it will remain the same relative to the screen here. So that's fine. So again, we've got our other button. And I'll pause this now because I'll do the rest of it. You don't want to watch me doing it twice. Okay, so I just did the same thing with the quit button, put in all the normal hovered and pressed stuff, set all the margins to 0, all that kind of business. So that's all set up, but my vertical box, these buttons still look a bit squished. So you can just, with the vertical box, so you can just scale the vertical box, and that's what will scale the buttons as well accordingly. Okay, so you can't go that way, so it'll squish them. So that's fine. So I'm going to put them, that'll do. Okay, so we haven't actually set up any interactivity, if you noticed, to these. We just place the buttons there. They're not suddenly going to know what to do. So we'll do that later. But I also want to just add like a nice logo, okay? Because when you have a menu, you don't just have start, quit game. You have normally a logo. It's like what the game is called, something fancy. So again, we can just bring in another image for that. Drop it in there. Again, it's just a white box at first. Go over here to where we added an image before, into the brush bit. And I just called it logo, so I know what I've got. Boom. Super creative title. Fantasy game. So obviously this is a PNG image because it's got the transparent background. No, the other file types like JPEG won't support that. So it's a PNG. I just in Photoshop just deleted the background so it's transparent, and then when you bring it in here, it looks nicer. So that can be there somewhere. It's fine. Okay, so visually, that's what our menu is going to look like. Obviously, you guys can take more time. You'll probably hopefully create your own backgrounds, create your own buttons, create your own logos, and have a nice custom menu. What you want to do before you just finish this though is name these. Okay, because again, it's just good practice to have everything named. So image 133 is my background. Vertical box is my I should use camel really. Button box, and this one is my start button. This one is my quit button, and this one is the logo. All right, make sure it's all uniform. There you go. Okay, so we know what everything is. So visually we set up our menu, we know what it looks like, it looks great. What we just need to do next is actually make it work and do stuff. So if I compile it and save it, close it down, when we push play at the moment, there you go. We've actually got a menu. You can hover over and see the start and quit buttons do stuff. The hover works. If I push start game or quit game, like nothing actually happens. Okay, so exit to come out of that. Next up is making it actually work. All right,